right now is Renaissance Capital Co-Founder and IPO ETF Manager, Kathleen Smith. Kathleen, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So this is a big deal.
Well, summer is here, and the IPO market is starting to heat up. We've had a very cold winter. The number of IPOs got down to 50% below the prior year's issuance levels. And it seems to us that maybe Pokemon has found its way into the IPO market.
So you think sentiment has actually changed for buying stock today?
Sentiment has changed, and investors are trying to catch them all, I guess, as they would say, with Pokemon. Yes, it has. The returns have been strong, and it's returns that are the fuel that drive the IPO issuance engine. So we're seeing good times now.
But these are strong companies that investors actually want, right? They're not like a GoPro or a Fitbit, right, where they didn't really have a lot of traction in the revenues, and we've seen that come down, or keep up with the growth, right? So these are companies that investors have been clamoring for. Because
of the volatility, IPO investors have been very valuation sensitive, and they're looking for stronger, more established companies. So that's sort of the beginning of how the market improves, and then we'll see all kinds of other companies come out. So that kind of leads to why Line Corp is really such an attractive IPO right now to investors. It's a very large company, a large IPO, profitable, and seems to fit the bill for what investors want right now.
What's potentially in the pipeline, maybe even outside of the technology industry? Because we always focus so much on tech IPOs.
Well, there are plenty of other kinds of companies. There's in all industries. I would say in the consumer product space, for example, we're going to see the first consumer products high growth IPO from a company called Yeti Coolers. That's an interesting one. Makes high-end luxury coolers. You can pay about $1,000 for one. A lot of profit.
No need for that.
Well, if you're an extreme outdoors person, you want to make sure the beer stays cold longer than any other. And if you're camping, you want to make sure the grizzly bear can't get in the cooler.
And SoulCycle's still in.
That's it's going to be launching the roadshow soon, SoulCycle.
SoulCycle is still a candidate to get its IPO done this year. I think they're just timing the market, and it seems to be obvious now.
I don't get the SoulCycle thing.
I don't, but that goes to what you were talking about GoPro going public. They're faddish, and that's the danger there, potentially.
I think you have to worry about that with any company. You really look at and say, what kind of sustainable revenue do they have? How much is a fad? Even if we get back to Line Corp, a very important IPO to be traded.
What about something like Twilio? I mean, it went public the day before, Britain's shocking exit. That rattled the global markets, but that one did well.
Well, and I think the reason is that investors didn't, one, they priced the IPO at a very low price. Because
pricing is so critical.
Very critical. And also...
It's priced, by the way, we're looking at the chart, priced at $15 a share. So if you got the IPO price, you did so well.
And also, if you bought in the aftermarket, it's traded very well for investors that bought. And that one's up 150% from its IPO price. It's an enterprise software company. There's another company, the second one to come out, and it'll price in 2 weeks, called Talend. Talend, and that looks like it will be of interest now. The question is whether it'll price at such an attractive valuation that Twilio did when it came out.
And maybe we should shed light on what actually Line is, right? So Line is a text app, right? It's a communications app. It's a Japanese company. It competes against WhatsApp. Is that correct?
Mobile messaging.
That's right. They start with the free mobile messaging, and then they offer other things. They offer digital stickers. They make several $100 million a year from digital stickers.
Jeez, so
they also offer games, and they make several $100 million from that, and they do some advertising. They are similar to WhatsApp, very popular here in the U.S., to WeChat, a popular Chinese messaging app. In Japan, they are the dominant messaging app, also in Thailand and Taiwan. The important thing is Line knows how to monetize better than any of these competitors. It has been able to monetize its users better than Facebook's, WhatsApp, and the others. So this is a competitive industry, however.
Does this tell you anything about the broader market? I mean, when you see the IPO market beginning to stabilize after such a long, thaw, or freeze, rather. Does that tell you that the broader market looks better, that sentiment has actually changed for the stock market?
I'd like to think it was somewhat of a leading indicator, but we think that the market has to be fairly stable to make a strong IPO market. But if you look at all of the deals that have been priced so far this year, the average return on those 40-some IPOs are about 17% from the IPO price. That's a very strong return, and so basically we think that it's the strong returns, the attractive pricing that builds up the momentum. It's the fuel that drives the IPO issuance engine, the returns, and that's really what it is. And then you need the stable market background. I think we have that equation now. We'll get to see a lot of IPOs. How long it lasts, we'll see, but we have a very skeptical investor, and usually when you climb the wall of worry, you get better things out of the market.
Yeah, I mean, with rates at 1.4% and doomsday feelings in the equity markets.
Unicorn valuations have come down, and you can see Theranos. Yeah, you can see Theranos being marked down. I mean, so in private land, they're starting to be taken down. That's why you may see advantage pricing coming out on the IPO side.
Yeah.
Kathy, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Kathleen Smith, Renaissance there.